All right, you want to know why wedding photographers are lying to you? I'm going to unpack the myth. I used to be a part of the problem, and we fight this whole shift every day. And if you're a photographer out there, you might disagree, and that's okay. But you might also reflect on the way that you are communicating and the things that you're putting out. And honestly, is it really authentic? Are you honestly being truthful? Let me unpack it. In no particular order, why photographers and videographers, specifically wedding, are lying to couples. You go on a website these days, what's the first word that you see? Documentarian, documentary approach. We have a candid, natural way of photographing. And I'm not to say that people don't have this, but the truth is that word is really strong. Documentarian, a documentary approach. Now, to me, a documentarian is someone that does not say a word, is someone that witnesses everything. And if that are the words, or if they are the words that you or we are using on our website, on our social media, it's a sales tactic. It's bullshit. Because if you are getting family photos, you're directing during portraits, you're setting up scenes, you're giving people advice, are you really a documentary wedding photographer? I mean, a documentary war photographer, do you think they walk into a scene and they set it up? Most likely not. Would they be considered a documentarian if they did? Most likely not. And so the wedding industry has adopted this language, this word, because people think they want that. And they might want that. And they might not understand that that word is not really authentically proven, especially in the wedding photography world. When I see documentarian or documentary photographer or filmmaker, I get it. We probably still have that word on our website, but it's not truly authentic. You know, like I said, a documentarian is, to me, someone that says nothing all day, nothing. So maybe reconsider the words that you are using or define it in a way that you believe is the truth, right? The second one, candid wedding photographer. Candid. Well, is that the encompassing all word? Is that the whole style, the philosophy? Or is that another sales word? How many times do you get an inquiry that say, hey, we want a candid approach on our wedding day? And it's cool. I know there's times on a wedding where it totally leans towards that moment. You know, after the ceremony, people hugging, congratulating. I think it's very rare a photographer would step in and direct that. They are documenting candid moments. But as a photographer, is the candid moments or the candid way of being, is that you or is that the people in front of you? Are they being candid or are you being candid? Because the reality is what's happening in front of you is candid. So you're not really a candid wedding photographer. You're just there documenting that moment. And you know, the next thing I want to talk about here is being truthful and honest up front. Something we like talking about often now to couples when they come through is being honest and letting them know our mode of creation, our ideal way of being, how we like creating. Not just leaving it at these sales tactic words, which are the reality is I'm yet to find a documentarian wedding photographer in Australia. Prove me wrong, there probably is one out there. And then candid just, to me, is just totally irrelevant. So what we're doing lately is we're communicating to couples and seeing what approach they would like us to take. And we're letting them visualize. So if you're a couple, visualize yourself in a scenario. Hey, there's a card from my fiance and he's written it or she's written it out to me and I want to open that in the morning. Now, we always say, you know, there's two ways you can go about this. A photographer can set up a scene, get the beautiful lighting, make it cinematic, put you next to the window, and you can open that card and you can look perfect and it's perfection and you can have that moment there. The question to ask yourself if you are in that situation, is that moment going to be authentically you? Can you fully be present in that moment if it is set up? And if you can be, amazing. But if you think, you know what, nah, fuck, I will feel quite awkward being surrounded by a staged scene just to get the photo looking great. Well, cool, maybe the opposite is a better approach where you just let it unfold. Whether you're in your nightie, your pajamas, or you're fully dressed and you find that card and you're standing in the kitchen and you open it. Now, you've got to be willing to accept that the photograph might not be aesthetically the most pleasing photograph that you've ever seen. But if you value authentic emotions and you feel like you'd be more comfortable in that environment, allowing it to unfold, maybe you're gonna look beyond perfection. Maybe you're gonna look beyond the perfect aesthetic photograph during that period, and you're gonna feel what it felt like to be in that moment. Think about this. Even photographers and videographers. Are you communicating this to couples, or are you walking into a wedding with a predetermined generic way of documenting? And if so, that's great, but let people know. Are you walking straight into a scene and putting a dress in the window and then laying all the shoes and florals and all that out without really knowing if that is important to that couple? If it is, great. I'm sure you should have communicated this beforehand. But if you haven't, start reconsidering the way you are documenting weddings. You know, too often we hear from a bridesmaid or a groomsman saying, oh, you know, our wedding photos are so awkward, or we wish we did this, or yeah, I remember when a photographer did this. Oh, are you guys not doing that? It's not a shopping list. This isn't a grocery tour. We're not trying to compete or compare against other photographers, because the person in front of us is unique, and so is their story, and so is their being and the way they connect and the way they want to be photographed. You might want a hybrid approach. But if you are planning your wedding, please look beyond these words, because if you see a couple pose on sunset, is that really documentarian? Would they really have gotten that moment? Maybe you want that. That's cool. That's cool. But don't be fooled by these words people are using to create sales. And then you turn up on your wedding day and you realize nothing is aligned. You were getting dragged around left, right, and center. You were getting told what to do, and you may hate that experience. It's not a day to hate. It's not something that you can just redo at the click of a finger. It's like a tattoo. It stays with you forever. And it's really hard to get it lasered off and to restart. So photographers and videographers, be honest. Strip your shit away on your websites and your socials. Be authentic and communicate to couples. Be honest and document correctly. I hope you guys